And that wraps up another trading day. You'll probably notice it's a little darker in here, and that's because we traded past 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I didn't really want to do it, but our second to last trade was a partial entry. We were only trading with about a little less than half of our ideal position size. It was actually my biggest percentage gainer to date on the small account challenge. So it was super nice. We only made though about $100 on it. It could have been like a $220, $230, maybe even a $240 trade. It was really, really nice. But the problem was, because of that trade, I kind of felt like, well, I still had the cash for one more trade. So that would have been 3 trades on the day. And I don't know, I think that kind of forced me into a bad trade just because, you know, it's past 11, I'm exhausted. There wasn't any amazing setups. I just missed a nice breakout with CODX and TNXP. So I was having a little bit of a FOMO. There was cup and handle patterns everywhere, and they were just extremely choppy or not very textbook classic, I guess you can say. So then that last trade of the day, you know, it was just kind of got me. I think it was about a 4% loss. Nothing really too bad, but it was just really quick. There was a lot of risk in this trade, and I think I got a little bit too aggressive. Somebody said in the chat room, I traded a slow moving stock like a fast moving stock, and you were absolutely right. That's exactly what I did, and I just made a mistake there. So I gave back about half of my profits on the day on that one mistake alone, which honestly should have just never happened. So next time you see me start trading after 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, just yell at me right in the chat room, be like, Alex, stop what you're doing, end the live stream, you're gonna start losing money. Or maybe, I don't know, that just sounds really mean, but you know, be like, Alex, you're breaking your rules. Stop trading after 11. I'm sure you're exhausted, and you know, most likely I am, because you know, locally, what time is it? I don't know. It's probably around 7 p.m. right now. I know I typically get up around 7. So, and then I, you know, by like 8, 9, I'm already working deep in TradeJournal and Vice Offers and all of our other businesses, Enzlo. So, you know, by the time the market opens locally for me, 3:30 p.m., it's been a full day. So, you know, trading past 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is not really something I want to be doing. And I've noticed every time I do it, I make a mistake. It's just, it's crazy how almost reliable that metric is. No, not to mention breakouts are going to be a little bit more shaky in that time frame as well, just because, you know, some traders are done. I know a lot of traders that wrap up trading around 10:30, 11, and you know, by noon they're kind of done, or maybe they're going to come back for the afternoon trading session from maybe 2 p.m., 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But right around lunch, a lot of people go away, and breakouts are a little bit weaker, and I got aggressive, really aggressive, at probably the worst time. So lesson learned, or I should say lesson reinforced. And again, it was a little annoying today. So today was a nice green day. We're probably up around 6% cumulatively between all the trades based on our position size of about $1.2 thousand. But it could have easily been, you know, a $300 day, or I guess you can say maybe a 25 to 30% profit day. If, you know, with SLS on that trade, we were up 7-8%, I could have just took my profits. You know, that would have been one great way to just kind of start the day. Also with SLS at 1.57, where it found some really big support and then ran up 20-30% from there, that would have been a phenomenal trade. And we kind of watched it happen and called it out, but I didn't trade it. So again, big mistake there. TNXP, just, you know, we had an issue with TOS. My first order was rejected. I still have no idea why. I have to watch the recap video and try to figure out what happened, or I have to watch the live stream and figure out what happened. CODX, cup and handles left and right, same with TNXP. And I don't know, somehow I traded horrible today, but at least we still ended green. So hopefully that is, you know, words of encouragement for everyone else, because I could have done almost anything else, and today I somehow would have ended green. It's not always like that. You know, you got to manage your risk, but today was one of those days that, you know, could have been a home run day, and somehow I absolutely butchered it, but we were still able to grow the account a little bit at least. All right, enough of my rant. Don't forget, guys, to hit the like button if you enjoy these recap videos. And if you are new here, definitely consider subscribing. I would love to have you join an upcoming stream and join the channel in general. For now, let's go to the charts. So here it is, SLS, our lead gapper on the day. TNXP was our secondary gapper, so we'll talk about that one in a second. Dollar volume, 42 million. Not too bad. 14 million market cap and 5 million shares outstanding. I think their float was about 4 point something million. So perfect, you know, area of what we want to be trading. This thing was gapping up about 36%. News came out a little bit later that they had positive phase 1 out of 2 results. So that's always really good for a biotech. And that came out, what I mean a little bit later, it came out around 8:30, which is good. It didn't come out yesterday evening. So, there was already vicious trading on it, and it was trading a lot, extended hours. So this one had the ability to really keep breaking in the morning. And somehow, that was my game plan. I mean, I knew that there was going to be a high percent chance that was going to happen. And here we go. So market opens, we pull back from 2.61 all the way here to 2.41. And the next candle, we kind of hold this area and bounce all the way back up to 2.16, pull back again to 2.5. And this is when I said we should be entering the trade. Big time support in this area. We want to be getting aggressive. I didn't. And yeah, absolutely just started running away from us. Really aggressive. I just, it's kind of painful to look at this, honestly. So we could have easily gotten an entry, let's say at 2.59 or 2.6. This thing runs up 40% in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, in 7 candles, 6 of which were green. And it was even halted. There was so much opportunity with SLS, and after this big run, it was kind of dead. That was the opportunity, and we missed it. So kind of depressing there. This thing kind of just pulls back the rest of the day, and at no point do we get aggressive. Actually, wait, hold on. That's not true. I was thinking about at 10 o'clock, after 10 o'clock. This is the trade I wanted to talk about, actually. So yeah, we pull back here at 2.95. This is when I got the entry, and I was waiting. I almost got an entry here at 2.96 or 7. I was waiting for an initial crash in this area, and it wasn't. We just didn't get it. It wasn't that strong. This thing bounces up 7%, but I don't really get any FOMO because I know, this thing ran a lot, and a healthy correction is definitely totally warranted. I was waiting for it to pull back maybe 20% or something like that, kind of come back to this former breakout zone. That's what I was waiting for. I wanted to see a crack of $3, but then the selling slowed down, and then that's exactly what happened. The selling slowed down. We had a nice we were holding here. Eventually we broke out higher, and then we were approaching this area 3.2, and this is when I was up like 8 or 9% or 7 or 8%, or I don't know, something like that. Between 7 and 9%. And I could have easily closed this for a really nice profit. But again, I was waiting for a 3.2 breakout, and I wanted to sell into like 3.24, 3.26. I wanted to sell into these shoulders right here. It would have happened, but then, pulls back, and then we have 2 really aggressive pullbacks, and then I sell on the bounce. So yeah, we made 16 bucks, or I don't know, probably 1.5% on this trade. Great. I mean, not too bad. Better than being red, but I really left a lot of money on the table, and that was a little bit annoying. But I knew when this thing pulled back as aggressively it did, it was dead. And then here you can see, try to pull up again a few times, but just, was not able to do it. And it's kind of been selling off ever since. It did try a few more times to break here above VWAP. And I'm not going to lie, as this breakout was happening, and then we were trying to break above VWAP here at a $3, I was getting a little excited. But check out the volume. It was basically non-existent. And that kind of also made me stop paying attention to it. And especially when we had this pullback right here, I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop watching this one. And it was a good thing that we did, because SLS never really did anything else besides that first initial break to the upside. But you got to admit, this breakout, from the low, 50% plus move, super nice. We could have been on board with it. It's a little stressful. I think missing this trade and then messing up the second trade on SLS was, it kind of messed with my head. And I was a little bit, I wouldn't say FOMO, but I don't know. Maybe I was getting into revenge trading. Maybe I was just a little bit upset at this point. I don't know. I felt fine, but at the same time, I was like, wow, how did I just butcher 2 perfect trades? I think that made me probably, this trade, any other day, I feel like I would have closed my position here. I would have been super happy. But maybe because I missed this one, I was doing a little bit of revenge trading deep inside, and I didn't even really understand that. So I don't know. That was a tough one to trade. Okay, so let's talk about the next lead gapper, TNXP. This one was really surprising. This one really took the show. Big dollar volume, 116. That's really nice. This is what the traders were watching most of the day. Pre-market had a really good run here. So let me quickly get all my charts set up right. I think it was about 80%, 95% was the high pre-market. Really solid. And Yeah, so let's quickly see here, 13 million market cap, 12 million shares outstanding. I think the float was about 11 million. So a little bit, high, and it was sub dollar, which made me not really want to trade it. It did have good morning news about the coronavirus, that they were developing some vaccine for the coronavirus. And so this is your classic biotech chart long term, just doing reverse splits, doing, really bad in what's it called, secondary offerings, not really good stuff. Dilution for long-term investors, but that's how they keep their shop afloat. That's how they keep having the ability to put millions of dollars into R&D by selling into the market. And that's why you have these long-term charts that are really, really rough. Yeah, we were kind of approaching this gap down area. I had a feeling there was going to be a lot of resistance above $1, but I thought there was probably a good chance we're going to break $1, and then maybe I had it. There was a base here at around 1.31, and this is kind of the area I was watching for big time resistance, and it's kind of tough because the first trade we did with TNXP was just about perfect. We had a really, really nice what was that? Cup and handle pattern, and then a breakout. So let me quickly zoom in a little bit here. Market open, it didn't do too much, ran up 7% and then pulled back, kind of held this high as a little bit, kind of consolidated right around here above the 15-minute EMA. This is probably when I should have started paying attention to it. We're above VWAP, we're kind of moving higher, consolidating a little bit, and that's when I started taking my eyes off of SLS a little bit. And when we broke above here, that's when I really jumped on this one. I got a little bit more aggressive. I was waiting for this thing to really kind of break 1, and then I wanted to sell as we approached the first resistance at 1.1. And that's exactly what happened. So this was a really, really nice first trade. We sold almost at the perfect peak at about, where did we sell here? Let me quickly pull this down. We sold at 117. So this was a perfect exit. This trade, I think I did not do the calculations yet on what the percentage gain was on this one, but it was close to, I would say 18%. So this is definitely percentage-wise our best gainer. The problem was I go ahead and place a limit order and it got rejected. I have no idea why. I got to watch this stream and figure out why it was rejected. And I was like, wait, what just happened? So then my second order went through, but the price already ran away. Luckily, it pulled back for a second and we got a partial entry with only, I think, 500 shares. So like just about $500. So, even though this was a killer trade, profit-wise, it wasn't really that big. So that was a little disappointing, but still, it was good fun to watch, and I was really happy to be part of it. I can't really complain. The next trade, and this is really tough. At this point, I kind of had leftover cash. I had like, $1,100 in leftover cash, and I was thinking, okay, well, it's a good day. Everything's moving up, big volume everywhere. It's a really, the markets are green. There's a good chance that we might have a secondary breakout TNXP, or I was looking at COCP because this one was looking pretty good as well. We'll talk about that in a second. So let me see here. So this is the first cup and handle right here. We have the nice cup, and then we have the handle, nice pullback, and then this clean 11% breakout. And then we also have a little retest here, which is really nice. So this one, again, formed a little bit of a cup and handle right here. So we have the cup, and then we have the handle, but the handle didn't break out. And that's when I wanted to buy the handle breakout, but it didn't happen. Not a lot of volume. And I got a little nervous, and I no longer wanted to really trade this. But then it started breaking up here, and I missed this move. I tried to place a few limit orders, but I just, it ran away from me. And this is already pretty late. This is 11 o'clock. So guys, next time you see me trading past 11, something's going wrong. Whoops, what was that? We just pulled up way too fast. So yeah, let me go have 1 minute. We had this is tough because I go ahead and chase this entry a little bit too much. You can see my entries right here at 119. That's a high. We only hit, the all-time high was only 2% higher than that. So I was being way too risky. And then this thing instantly pulls back to, 113. And this support level is kind of like my risk tolerance level. So instantly, I'm down kind of a lot. Let me quickly go back over here. Instantly, we were down on this trade at like 4%. And I was like, oh man, last trade of the day. I'm already exhausted. I gave back half my profits. And I was so scared because I honestly thought the next red candle could dip 10%. And all of a sudden, we have a red day. How horrible would that have been? So I quickly get out of this trade. I take my small loss, and that's fine. You know, it runs up again here to 1.2, so we could have got out for even a small profit at one point. But the amount of risk on this was just ridiculous, and I should have never entered this trade at all. This was definitely FOMO trading. This was me trying to make up for that last trade. I don't know. I kind of felt like today we missed a lot of opportunities, and that's a little bit how I was trading this one. I was just, you know, I should have ended the stream a long time ago. Here's a little bounce of 11%, pretty nice. But TNXP was pretty cool. You know, the stats on it with market cap and the shares are exactly what we're looking for. It's up with a catalyst, first screen day. You know, this is a recent reverse split, former runner. This is exactly what we're looking to trade. So this was an amazing, amazing stock. And honestly, we did pretty well on it. Besides this one. So this trade should have never happened, and this should have just been a full execution, and today could have easily been, you know, $250 day. So just, you know, those two little mistakes kind of got me on edge, and whatever, it happens. And yeah, I think just, you know, dealing with it and seeing that at the time and understanding that, you know, going into this last trade was probably a bit more of a FOMO move than anything else, probably would have helped me. The worst part is I even had a limit order here at 11.12, and I removed it to move up my limit order. So we could have even had like a good 4% trade on this one. I should have been way more conservative, honestly. Let's go ahead and talk about COCP, which is pretty cool because this one had a lot of cup and handles as well, except there was a few things that, you know, were big red flags about it for me. Okay, so here it is, CODX, the second biggest dollar volume on the day, 191 million market cap, 24 million shares outstanding. Whoops, let me quickly fix this chart up here. This is way past where we want to be. Absolutely ripping it. This thing is just crazy. So this was the third green day on this one, which made me a little bit cautious. It wasn't really a gap up, it was just more of a continuation. Out of the gates though, market opens and this thing pulls up right away. So we had a little bit of a pullback, a healthy pullback actually, and then just absolutely rips, you know, 20%. So although I must say it was a pretty slow move, you know, putting a little bit more attention to former runners, especially from the day before, is something I've been wanting to do. And CODX, I think, was a perfect example of that. You know, today was such a nice big green day, had a lot of potential. So I probably should have been looking to get a little bit more aggressive with CODX out of the gates. I probably even should have watched CODX out of the gates. It was also, let me quickly see here. This is the one thing that kind of got me on the edge. This is another one of the kind of macro Corona plays. So it's just up on macro news because everything kind of Corona related, if it's, you know, like APT protection close or, you know, your biotechs that are just absolutely running because they're working on some sort of vaccine for the coronavirus, all these stocks are up. The thing about CODX, there was no news about it. So I was really skeptical that, you know, it's going to keep running. But still, this is where the dollar volume was. And sometimes you just got to, you know, look and, you know, see what's in front of you. And CODX clearly is where the volume was. So I probably should have been a bit more attentive to that. So yeah, we missed this first run up. This first big pullback was about 9%, pretty nice. Pulled all the way back to VWAP, former breakout area. This trade right here could have been, you know, very predictable at 8%, really nice. And then again, from 5.23, we break to new all-time highs, and this thing just absolutely rips. It forms a bit of a cup and handle pattern here as well. We have the cup, we have the 1 minute pullback here, 2 minutes you could even say, and then a nice rip to the upside. So that breakout would have been really, really solid in this area. Again, cup and handle pattern, except this handle was very quick. This was a big red candle at one point and then just broke out higher again. So this was a 9% move, and if you held past the second dip, 14% move. So CODX just, you know, constantly is just ripping to new highs, and again, it just crazy. Again, it just had a tremendously big move here to 22% rally, kind of from this cup, and then here's the handle. So, you know, there's so many ways we could have probably traded CODX, and I don't know. There's big resistance at $6, and that always put me really on edge with the trade. So right around here, it was for quite a long time during the stream, and I never really felt super comfortable with trading it. So now it's at all-time highs, which is absolutely insane. So who knows how high this is going to go, especially, you know, as shorts get stopped out and things like that. So, you know, this could easily be one of those stocks that, you know, hit $20. And everyone's like, wow, how did that happen? And that's just a classic short squeeze. Or it's just going to absolutely tank. Who knows? I sure don't, but it's good fun to watch, and just so many trading opportunities on it. The fact that I had no news but big volume should have made me probably a little bit more aggressive on it. And yeah, I think that's probably the biggest takeaway on CODX. And look at CODX still running. Let's go ahead and wrap up with talking about APT, because this is the lead gapper. Well, actually, it's not the lead gapper, but it's the lead dollar volume on the day. And 152 million market cap, 13 million shares outstanding, pretty small float as well. I think it was around this area, 11 million or something like that. I would have to double check. Thinkorswim does not show the float. If you guys figured out how to maybe custom program it, definitely let me know. I would love to do it myself. Right now, I usually check FinViz or other news sites to get the float, but it's not ideal. APT out of the gates just absolutely rips. And pre-market, I was so close to buying it at this $10 support level. I didn't, because I don't really like to do pre-market trading too much. But we would have been up 8% before the market opened, and then it ripped up another 31% total. So probably watching APT or CODX out of the gate would have been the ticket. This one pulls back here to 10.43 before reversing, 25% rally. Absolutely killer. The rest of the day though, it just has a lot of resistance, and it also, I don't think has any news. It's also the third big green day, which you want to be careful with that. I remember we were watching this around, what was it, like 10 or something like that, and it was forming a bit of a pennant pattern. You can kind of see it here, the pennant pattern. On the 5-minute chart down here, you can see it a lot better. And then we had a nice little breakout of this pennant pattern. This was about a 4% move, then it pulls back, finds support, and runs again. I typically don't like trading pennants because they're very choppy, I have found. And I don't know, I seem to get faked out on pennant patterns a lot. So I didn't really want to trade this one. I did understand that, maybe it's going to do a little double top here, and there's, good probably 5% profit to be made. But again, I just never really felt comfortable with APT. But, watching the way it trades, seeing that it, holds these support levels extremely consistent across the board, probably it would have been a good dip buy. Look at that, a 7% dip buy in just a few minutes. So this could have been a really, really solid trade. Yeah, there's so many things I could have done today. It did actually, APT was running because it was up on good earnings. I think that came out this morning or midday even. So right around here, actually. Alpha Pro Tech Q4 earnings per share. Let's see, down from 0.005 year over year. Where did I read? Hold on one second. Q4 sales, I don't know, somewhere in here. I was reading that they had really good sales, and I think that's why they're up. But overall, I think this move is a little bit overextended. I mean, check out their long-term chart. We were trading APT weeks ago. And that's, again, I don't like trading stocks that I typically traded, a while ago, and they're still running up. I feel like they're extremely overextended. But again, I traded APT, or I didn't trade APT, and I was a bit wrong on it in terms of, getting aggressive out of the gate. So I think APT and CODX, since they were former runners and there's a lot of people watching them out of the gates, trading that, those big moves to the upside would have been a really good idea. And then, being a little bit more calm on them, especially with APT hitting these highs. But, CODX just, absolutely keeps ripping it. So it's really hard to say on some of these that are running. Are they going to be the big home run trade? Are they not going to be the home run trade? I don't know. I find it quite difficult. That's why I typically look for those first day gappers like SLS, which, this was really the nice one. And then TNXP, again, just absolutely kills it. And actually, let me just throw up the long-term chart with SLS just so that we have it on the record. SLS, here we go. It looks a little bit like TNXP, really, really rough long-term, but then, breaking out here, big volume coming in. You can see the traders, and it kind of stops out here at this 3.65 area. So yeah, pretty cool trade with this one, or just chart pattern, honestly. I mean, big support coming in here and then ripping all the way past this resistance zone, all the way up to the next resistance zone, 52% move. SLS would have been the one. That is tough. Super fun day. I hope tomorrow that we have an equally fun day, equally good opportunities. I want to be a little bit more aggressive when it counts. I don't really want to be trading after 10:30, 10:45, and definitely not after 11. I'm super tired by then. By now, I already know that. So it makes it even worse when you lose money and you kind of broke that rule, right? Even if you made money and you broke that rule, it also doesn't feel that good, because you're like, well, that wasn't really warranted, and if I keep doing that, something bad probably will happen. And I don't know. I think I really just need to stick to not trading after 11. And I think many of my problems will probably just disappear because of that. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. That's everything for this video. Hit that like button if you haven't done so already and you enjoyed this content, and consider subscribing if you're new here. I would love to have you join the channel. Till next time, guys, I'll see you on the live stream tomorrow. So till then, like always, stay safe and make some awesome trades. Ciao, ciao.